What is up, New York Giants Nation? It is Robin Donald. This is Nerdin' Out Sports, and we've got ourselves the preview show, Lions Giants, happening Sunday afternoon. The Giants looking to go 8-2. Lions at 3-6, looking for their fourth victory of the season. Detroit, one of the better offenses that you'll see out there. They can put up a lot of points, but they give up a lot of points. Something's got to give. They score 25 or 24 a game. They give up just about 30 a game. So if there's any week the Giants offense can hopefully come out, put some good points on the board, maybe it's this one because the schedule gets very tough following this one. Donald, how are we feeling going into Sunday?
Kenny Golladay revenge game, right?
If there's anyone. Maybe he'll
No,
catch one.
I actually think that Golladay might be out for Sunday, which is just sums up his year, right? I think he's got a new quote unquote injury, and that might be him. But no, how do I feel about this game? I feel pretty good. I think the Giants can do the job, but as you say, the Lions can put up points in bunches, and it could be an air attack. I'd like to see us air it out a little bit more with Daniel Jones. You got to try and take the wheels off a little bit. You got to kind of training wheels off. You got to give him a chance to air it out and see what we got.
Yeah, I think if I don't know how the weather's supposed to be because we know in Buffalo they were expecting a hell of a lot of snow. I don't know what it's supposed to be like Sunday afternoon in Jersey, but
have you seen the photos?
It looks pretty rough.
It's crazy, wild.
But we'll have to see because if that's the case, if it's like a very tough environment to throw the football, the Giants could be trending and doing the exact same thing they did a week ago, which is just ride the back of Saquon Barkley once again. I don't know if they'll give him 35 carries like they did a week ago, but they might have to rely heavily on the ground game, and maybe they involve a little bit more of Daniel Jones's legs this time around, but I don't know how you can at least take a few attempts against the secondary because they can get beat. And as we pointed out already, they give up a lot of points. So you have to at least take a couple of shots and see if you can get the job done. If not, you're going to have to quickly change course and go to that ground game so you don't allow them to hang around because they can score. They just give up a lot.
They certainly give up a lot. That's why I was thinking that maybe a strong passing game would be good. Let's have a look at what the experts think. The experts have Dan Graziano has the Lions. Allen has the Giants. Nate Davis, Reyes, Bender, all Giants. Okay. So it looks like Dan Graziano is like the only guy that goes with the Lions. It's interesting. Let's have a quick look at our injury report. So the latest information is that obviously Bellinger's still out, unfortunately. Evan Neal is trending out. Dable isn't optimistic that he'll be ready for Sunday, but he says that he's making strides. So you might be seeing him possibly against the Cowboys, if that would be great. But at the moment, he looks out for Sunday. Belton is questionable. Josh Azudu looks like he's out. Golladay is questionable. Dexter Lawrence questionable. Wan'Dale Robinson hamstring questionable. Thibodeau's fine after an illness. Gano looks like he's okay after an illness, and Jihad Ward is also okay. So it looks like we might be looking at Lemieux. It's possible Lemieux will be coming off injured reserve, so he could be starting in place of Azudu. It would be Lemieux's first action of 2022, and just played 17 snaps in 2021. So you could be looking at him at left guard.
I think that's what we're going to be seeing. All the reports that have been coming out the last 24 hours or so, it seems like it's trending in that direction, which it can't be much worse because Azudu has really struggled, even though last week he graded out as our second best lineman outside of Andrew Thomas. But
Yeah,
he's
it was a better day for him.
Yeah, it was a better day, but he has still struggled mightily when he's gotten the starts. He's been better in the kind of that switching role, but Bredesen was just so much better that he took over the starting job. But I think you're going to see a lot of what we saw a week ago where you'll see Nick Gates in there as an extra blocker. I don't know if they'll go do that 8 offensive lineman thing again because you're pretty much just guaranteeing you're running the football. But I'm excited because I like Lemieux. I thought he played pretty well in 2020. And, it sucks that he got hurt because I was excited because he was a 5th-round pick and there was some hype around it because a lot of people thought we got a steal at that point and he played okay. Wasn't anything special, but for a 5th-round pick, he did just fine. But the injury slowed him down. We lost him and Nick Gates last year, which were crucial to the offensive line's depth. So the fact that we're getting them back, we got Matt Parrott back. All of a sudden, the depth is no longer a huge issue to me, but I'm really excited to see Shane Lemieux back out there.
Yes. In fact, Art Stapleton has confirmed that he will be activated from IR. So that is good news for us. Having a quick look at the Lions, DeAndre Swift doesn't have an injury designation, nor does Jamal Williams. So their running back core is ready to rock and roll. That's fine. Taylor Decker is fine as well. So their starting left tackle and their 2 running backs look like they are going to be absolutely fine. So the Lions look like they're pretty much healthy. The only thing is they did trade away their star tight end, TJ Hawkinson. So that's good news for us. Because if we faced Hawkinson, that would have been a slight concern. But now that he's in Minnesota, that I think that apart from him, I really like St. Brown though. Amon St. Brown's fantastic.
Yeah, I like him as well, but not having to face Hawkinson because we just have so much trouble with good tight ends. We have trouble with tight ends in general, but the good ones feast every single time they play the New York Giants because they know we just don't have people that can cover them, especially now being down McKinney for the next 3-4 weeks, whatever it might be. So it is definitely a boost to the Giants, knowing that we don't have to deal with Hawkinson Sunday. It's really going to be Adoree Jackson versus St. Brown, and I'm not sure exactly who their number 2 is at the moment, but I have faith in Fabian Moreau that he can at least do a good enough job. It could be another one of those cases where stop the run and you're going to have a really good shot at winning this game.
Well, Jamal Williams has had a very good year. He's got 600 yards already this year.
So 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's been having a good year. Certainly a good year for fantasy guys who have them. DeAndre Swift's been a surprise because he was expected to be their number 1, but he's only got 253 yards. 2 touchdowns. Jamal Williams is 9, so he's doing well. Jared Goff, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2,200 yards. I mean, that's kind of solid for a quarterback. I would say it's not amazing, but it's fairly solid. You're asking about the receiving core. Amon St. Brown has 500 yards already and 3 touchdowns. Hawkinson was their second best receiver, so that's good news. I guess you would say that their second receiver would be Josh Reynolds. He has 357 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 tutties right there. DJ Chark, barely been used. Quintez Cephas has barely been used. So it looks very much like they're going to be relying heavily on Amon St. Brown, who is an absolute monster, in my opinion. He averages 10 yards per reception.
Yeah, he's great. I like watching them play because they have a really solid offense and they need a lot of help on the defensive side of the ball, of course, so they can stop giving up 30 a game and they'll start racking up some wins. But they already got 3. I mean, no one really thought the Lions would be doing much this year. They could have had at least one more when I believe there was a really close game. So they're potentially a 4 or 5 win team if you want to look at their whole schedule so far. You know, they've played pretty well. There was a point where people were looking at the Lions like they could be a surprise with the way they were starting out of the gate, but their defense just can't stop anything right now. So the Giants have to take advantage of that. They can't be afraid to be aggressive. Even if it's like they did against the Jaguars, take a couple of shots early, see if they can stop it or not. And if they can't, don't shy away from it. And I'm not saying just keep chucking it down the field. This isn't Madden, but if you can take a couple of shots and get a couple of big plays, don't be afraid to let it loose, because Daniel Jones has shown already in his career, and this year he can throw the deep ball. So I think you got to let him take that shot. Now, if the wind doesn't allow it, then you don't do it, but you at least got to try to air it out just a little bit more. I'm not saying throw it 50 yards down the field, but let your quarterback be a quarterback, because this is the kind of defense that you can strike for a few quick touchdowns against. And what is up to MH in the chat? Thank you for popping in.
Thank you, MH. So obviously the guy on defense to keep an eye out on is Aiden Hutchinson, who is actually having a very, very strong rookie year. 5.5 sacks already. 4 tackles for a loss. So yeah, his numbers are right there. He also has an interception. Another guy who's actually had a fairly strong year. I think there's basically only been 2 guys that have had strong years for them. The other guy who's had a strong year for them is their safety. Their safety, Kirby Joseph, who has 2 forced fumbles and 2 interceptions. So he's obviously his numbers are fairly solid for this point of the year. But that's really about it. That's about the only guy to keep an eye out on. Jeff Okudah is just the 1 interception, 1 touchdown. So he's all right too, Jeff Okudah. He's pretty good. Obviously, he was highly rated coming out of the draft. So that's really about it. Their defense is very gettable, but obviously you keep an eye out on Jeff Okudah, Kirby Joseph, and of course Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson could cause some real damage.
Especially if they put him against Tyree Phillips.
Exactly, to our offensive line. What up, MH? What up? It's going to be fun to watch Aiden Hutchinson, because obviously it was a battle between Aiden Hutchinson and Thibodeau as the best edge rushers of the draft. So it's going to be fun watching them face off.
Yeah, and I actually saw a stat about maybe 45 minutes ago from NFL Rookie Watch on Twitter. And it says that Kayvon Thibodeau, through 7 games, has 18 total pressures, 12.6 pass rush win rate. He leads all rookies. He's PFF's highest graded rookie pass rusher. And this is without him even showing up in the stat sheet. And Aiden Hutchinson is having himself a great year as well. So this is really right now the matchup of the 2 premier pass rushers from this draft going at it. And I want to see Kayvon get a couple. I really do. We've been saying it for a couple of weeks. We want to see him kind of light up the stat sheet, even if it's just once this year. And then as the years progress, he'll start getting more and more sacks. But even if this is the game where he just goes against Hutchinson, not one-on-one, obviously, head-to-head, but you get what I mean. And if he can just have that game where he's all over the place, he's got the tackles, he's got a couple of sacks, whatever it may be, I want to see it, man, because they're both having really good years, but Hutchinson's showing up more on the stat sheet, whereas you got to kind of take a deeper look at Kayvon to understand how much of an impact he's had.
I can't wait to watch them face off. 2 of the elite edge rushers in the draft. It's going to be fun. Aiden Hutchinson is such a good year, 5.5 sacks. But those are really interesting stats that you gave, because obviously Thibodeau's not really showing up in the sack sheet, but his pressures are right there. He's forcing holding penalties. He's getting held like basically 50% of the time. So it's going to be a fun matchup. I'm actually quite intrigued by this game because, Goff is fairly stationary in the pocket. So I feel pretty strong about Jihad Ward and Thibodeau getting in behind and causing some mayhem. And we've got the advantage because Daniel Jones is very mobile. mobile in the pocket. So he's been fairly good at he's been fantastic at not turning the ball over. That's been a special focus of his this year. And he's certainly looking a little better in the pocket and on the run as well. So his game is certainly shot up. So I feel pretty good about this matchup. But Goff does have a very good arm still. And he's been airing it out, 15 touchdowns already. And how many does Daniel Jones have?
8.
Yeah, if that.
I believe, if I'm without looking at the stats just said, I think he's got 8 touchdowns, 2 picks. I don't think he's reached 2,000 yards yet. So if he continues at this trend, he's going to finish with just about 3,000 yards on the season and about 16 touch. Yeah, he's got 8 touchdowns, 1,500 yards. So he is very game manager-esque, but yet he is. And you really can't blame him for the lack of touchdowns because he doesn't really have anybody to throw the ball to aside from Slayton right now. With Bellinger being out, Golladay can't catch. We don't know what Robinson is yet. So you really have no one to throw the ball to. That's why most of our touchdowns do come from Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. So Jared Goff is actually in the top 10 in touchdowns and yards. Daniel Jones is definitely more game manager-esque. He's not in the discussion. So his 8 touchdowns put him 24th. So Jared Goff is actually having a pretty damn good year considering the obstacles ahead of him. You know what I mean? So I'm actually quite interested to see how he does. I think he's been better since going to Detroit. I wasn't very impressed with him in the Rams. I know he made it to a Super Bowl, but he looked awful in that Super Bowl, remember?
Yeah, it was a brutal game.
That was the first Super Bowl. It really was.
That was a terrible game. It's interesting, though, because he's playing better than Stafford is right now. And, if it wasn't for us being in the middle of a playoff chase right now, if things were going kind of the way most of us expected it to, we would probably be around the same record, maybe have a win or 2 more than them. And this would be one of those games that you look at with 2 teams that are probably below 500, but could be one of those. It still could be one of those games. But now, since we're chasing the playoffs, every game that is winnable matters. And this is one of those winnable games that has been on the schedule for pretty much since the schedule came out. You looked at Detroit and said, should be able to beat them. So I want to keep that fun aspect because I think it's going to be a fun game, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we drop this one because Detroit's got that kind of offense that can put it on you, and we don't have that offense that can drop 30 to go into a shootout. So I'm not guaranteeing. I do think we will win this game, but if it's going to come down to our defense, man, our defense has to ball out as they have been for most of the season. Because if we have to get into a shootout, I just don't know how we do that against a team like Detroit.
Well, the Lions, as you say right there, have given up the second most yards in the NFL. Going up 3,746 yards already. They're the only team worse than that is the Atlanta Falcons. So the Giants, on the other hand, are much better. They're middle in the pack as opposed to just rock bottom. So that's something to target. We can rack up yards, and we should do so comfortably. And on the ground, we do very well in our run game. Again, very strong, but Detroit, again, third worst in the NFL. Most yards given up on the ground. So Saquon can certainly rack up the points. So I can rack up the yards and the points as well. So I think our offense can do some damage. I'd like to see what Darius Slayton can do on the outside. I think Darius Slayton can have a big game.
Yeah, I agree. MH complimenting us on our beards. Thank you very much. Immaculate beards. Immaculate. And also MH says, why do you guys think fans are still complaining about this team not having so much high potential talent? Will this team be more stable than the Knicks? Yes. Not one good season. And I don't think we're going to be terrible next year. I don't know if that's maybe – I don't know if you saw that Will 20 guy on Twitter, he said he doesn't think the Giants will be competitive next year, and he wants Mitchell Trubisky to be the quarterback. So,
that wasn't a real account. That has to be one of those fake Twitter accounts. That can't be real.
It was a real account. It was a real tweet. This is the guy that hated the Saquon Barkley pick and complains about it as much as he can. It was a real tweet. I don't know if the losing and all the terrible years, basically a decade's worth of irrelevancy, has turned this fan base into complete and utter lunatics. But the fact that we're 7-2 right now, and we still have people saying, "Yeah, you know what? I doubt we're going to be competitive." Even we're probably not going to. We don't know the schedule next year, but even if, let's say, through 9 games we're 4-5 or 5-4, and we're still playing tough football the way we are right now, how could you look at the way that we're playing? How could you look at Daniel Jones and say, you know what? I would rather put Mitchell Trubisky under center because I doubt we're going to be competitive again.
I didn't even want Mitchell Trubisky in the offseason when we were trying to bring him in as a backup. I was like, no! And there was a reason for that, because how long did he last at the Steelers?
Not very long, and they're a worse team than us right now. So
exactly, about 3 weeks. He's a terrible quarterback. I knew he was a terrible quarterback for the last 2 years. So I don't know what that Twitter account was doing. I'm just astonished, but I don't want to give him credence or relevancy because that is just insanity, and insanity should not be publicized. That needs to be just forgotten about. So he does not exist in the pantheon of Twitter. I am not concerned about his craziness. But as a Giant fan, I'm further to MH's point. As a Giant fan, I'm taking this on a week-to-week basis. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been a decade of bad football, and we've had one decent year. Ben McAdoo. We also had a fun year with Odell Beckham in his rookie year, just going insane. That was a fun year with Eli and Odell balling out together. I think that team actually could have done some damage had Jerry Reese actually put together any semblance of a defense. We might have. Well, I think we would easily have made the playoffs that year, easily, because we had the offense. But that's just going back in time. But apart from that, apart from about 2 years of enjoyable football, it's been miserable, absolutely miserable. So now here we are. We're 7-2. We've shocked the NFL. We've shocked the league. We've shocked insiders. We've shocked outsiders. We've shocked every kind of cider. And they are
ourselves.
Exactly. We shocked ourselves. I think we probably shocked their own organization. They're competitive already. It's phenomenal. 7-2. They're like the 6th best team in the NFL. So it's just a wild situation, and I'm very, very proud of the whole organization. But as I say, I'm taking it on a week-to-week basis, and I'm also really excited for the coming off season. So not only are we going to be most likely going to be a playoff team, unless we completely fall apart. It looks very good that we're going to make the playoffs, and then we're going to have another full off season of a Joe Shane draft with extra picks now, with a 3rd and the 6th for Kadarius Toney. Can be very useful considering how well Joe Shane is drafted to this point, and considering the success of his first draft. We will augment in free agency, hopefully tie down Saquon, and we'll look at the quarterback situation. There's a good chance that maybe Jones comes back. If not, I actually fully trust the organization to make the right decision on that regard. So we're going to be an even better team next year. That's a fact. Now, I'm not saying we're going to have a better record next year, but we're going to be an even better team next year. So it's always going to be an improvement. We're still in quote-unquote rebuild mode. And any fans that are looking for negatives, I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing to be negative about. We are 7-2, and we've got top 5 best record in the league. It's absolutely astounding how good we are. So very, very proud of the whole organization. And what we got here.
Alex is in the chat. Got an interview with a Lions guy. Okay. Good luck with that, Alex. Thank you for popping in as always.
Pepsi doesn't suck. I'm a pro Pepsi. In fact, Pepsi.
we brought the Pepsi. See, sponsor us, Pepsi. But Pepsi. See, he got the medium Pepsi last year. He must have went to MetLife as a season ticket
That's a
holder.
large Pepsi. I went.
Oh, he got it size up. Okay, so you see John Mara. But
John Mara gave me a large.
speaking of which, you want to know how things are different for the New York Giants? They're changing the field next year. They're getting rid of that turf. Long time coming. Clap, clap, clap. They did it. Julian Love was a big part of it. I'm hoping. I wish it would have been sooner, but I'm assuming a lot of Jets players are probably involved in that as well, considering it's a shared stadium. Long overdue. That turf is a travesty. It's gotten far too many players injured with us, with the Jets, other teams. There was a part, was it 2021, where the 49ers played their back-to-back weeks and had about 4 injuries. The turf is disgusting, and I'm glad they're finally, I think they're going to artificial grass or something like that, but
perfect.
It's long overdue.
Julian Love said it's the worst turf in the NFL. So great. Much needed. Thank you, Julian Love. You are a freaking hero. Resign that man now just for that, because he's probably saved countless people's careers with that change going into next year with artificial grass instead of the turf, which has been ruining people's knees for years now. So I think it's long overdue, and it's just amazing how much things are looking up as a Giant fan. Next year, we're going to have a much better stadium situation. We're going to have we're a team that's on the ascendancy.
Yeah, Alex has his predictions in already, so I think that's a good transition to get our predictions in for this week's game.
Well, why don't we answer MH's question here first?
Yeah,
why was the turf not updated till now? Is Mara sleeping on the wheel?
He's growing. The organization took a while to wake up. Same thing with the Jets, really, because Woody Johnson's him and Mara have been stuck in this time loop. They've just been stuck in the 90s and the early 2000s for so long, and it took them a while to finally get their heads out of their arses and wake up and be like, far too many players are getting hurt, and our own players are getting hurt, and they're complaining. Maybe we should do something. It's again, long overdue.
Your Irishness came out there. Your arses.
Get your fucking head out of your arse.
Arse.
Change that fucking grass.
That fucking turf was shit. Absolutely shite. Right.
Before we break out in full Irish, let's get to the predictions.
Lucky Charms. Let's get me Lucky Charms.
Alex has Jones with 245 passing yards, and 40 rushing.
Right. Let's do our predictions. So
we'll start with the score. So we'll keep these on the screen here. Alex has us winning 24-20. Donald, what's your score prediction?
Giants 27. Lions 24.
Coming down to the wire. Okay. I do believe we'll win this game as well. MH is going out of their mind right now. 500 yards for Daniel Jones, 49-6 Giants. Must have just played Madden on rookie, and that was the final score there. I do think we're going to win. Alex has 24. You have 27. Those numbers are pretty typical for us. We'll get to that just about 20 range. I think we're going to win this game 23-21.
Dude, 27 is like 50 for the Giants.
Might as well be 60. One day we'll get 30.
So Alex has 24-20, and you have
23-21.
21. I think the game might go to overtime. I think the Giants might win by a field goal in overtime.
Oh boy, as if they haven't given us enough heart attacks this year. Might as well go for another.
I think that's what's going to happen. That'll be it. Okay.
All right. Mayor of Dimesville, Alex has him finishing with 285 yards total. Guess he doesn't have him hitting the end zone at all. But I'm going to say Jones gets 230 overall, and I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns.
So that's including it's in scrimmage in general.
Yeah.
Okay. All in, 230 all in, 2 TDs. Yeah, okay. I can definitely see that. I think I'll go 250 all in. 2 tutties as well, and an interception.
It's probably
he's bound to get a turnover at this stage. He's just been too good. So, yeah, I would say 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 250 yards, both in the air and on the ground, all in. So, okay, he has 245 passing, and 40 rushing. So that's
285
all in.
He's going big on Daniel Jones. He's got Saquon with 105 in total, 75 on the ground, 30 receiving, and he gets the first touchdown.
Okay, and you, Rob?
I think they're gonna run him into the ground again. So I think he'll get over 100 on the ground. And I think I don't think he'll have a big day receiving. So I'm going to say 120 total, and he'll have a touchdown.
So if I've got them going 27, right?
Yeah.
And Jones has 2 touchdowns. Then Saquon has 1 touchdown. And 140 all in. Okay.
He's got Saquon. Yeah. First touchdown.
First touchdown for you?
Daniel Jones rushing touchdown.
Ooh. Saquon Barkley for Mr. Alex. I'm going with Darius Slayton, who I think is going to just ball out. I'm going with him getting a passing touchdown. Receiving touchdown. Okay. First turnover.
Alex has Fabian Moreau with an interception. I believe we'll be able to. How did we get it last week? Did we get was it a fumble last week with our first takeaway? So I think it'll be the same thing because we just don't get interceptions. We only have like 2 or 3 on the year. So I'm going to say we get a fumble recovery, and it'll be Leonard Williams who gets the fumble recovery.
I'm going with an Adoree Jackson pick. Goff has 7 interceptions. I could see him throwing a pick. Number 6.
Alex does not have his prediction back there, so I'll say we get 4.
5 for me. And okay, most receiving yards.
Oh man.
So I'm already saying Slayton.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it has to be Slayton. Is it?
It's really how much competition is there?
There's nobody else. If Wandale's like on the, I don't.
Maybe Hodgins.
It could be Hodgins. It could be. But if you know how I'm going to do it, It's probably going to be a terrible decision, but if he plays, I think he's actually in line to play. Kenny Golladay revenge game. He's gonna lead the team in receiving.
Golladay revenge game. Dude, if Golladay has the revenge game, I'm giving you a Pepsi when I see you in January.
Looking forward to it.
Any more predictions?
No, I think that's it. We got our scores in.
Right.
We got
Let's get our
usual
weekly.
predictions.
So we got our weekly picks.
Yes, let's do so. Let's see who won the week last week. Week number
Fairly
10.
good idea that you might have won, but okay. So the German game was the Bucks and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I had the Bucks. Rob, you had the Seahawks.
You got the 1-0 advantage.
Okay. The Vikings, Bills. Rob, you went Vikings. And I changed my mind and I went with the Bills. Big L. So it's 1-1.
1-1.
Okay. Rob, you went the Lions. I went Chicago.
It's 2-1.
Yep. We all went Kansas City.
Okay, 3-2.
We both went the Titans.
4-3.
We both went Miami.
5-4.
Both went the 49ers.
Okay, 6-5.
Rob, you went the Rams. I went the Cardinals.
6-6.
Holy crap. Rob, you hero. Packers, Cowboys. You went Packers.
Yes, I did. Even though they still stink because they got smacked again yesterday, but they won last week. 7-6.
All comes down to and then the Giant game. We both had the Giants.
8-7.
Pretty sure we both went the Giants. Yeah, both went the Giants. Okay, so it all comes down to the Eagles and the Commandos. Tony Clark had the Commandos. Good for him. We both went the Eagles. So Rob wins the week by 1. With that Packers pick. That Packers pick was pure fire, man. And it was such a good pick that I don't even have a problem with losing that week, even though it's not too good for my numbers and the stats. My standings are much better with the boys in the Big Apple, but for here, you're killing it.
Well, thank you. Well, maybe you have a chance to turn it around this week because we got week 11.
Week 11 picks. Let's do it.
All right. We both got the Giants.
Okay.
Beating the Lions. We started off with an interesting one. The Bears and the Falcons.
Bears, Falcons. Let's think here. I like the Bears in this one.
Yeah, I like their offense lately, but they're kind of like the Lions at this point, which is why that game went down to the wire last week. I think the Bears do take it, though.
Okay.
Got the Browns and the Bills, this one being played in Detroit due to the snow. I got to go Buffalo indoors. I don't know how.
I can't see Buffalo losing another week. Can't see it. Cannot see it.
So if they do, got a game coming up right here that could really be interesting if Buffalo does in fact lose. We got the Jets and the Pats out in Foxborough. I got the Jets. That were my pick on the boys in the Big Apple Monday night. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I went with the Pats because Belichick never loses to the Jets. So let's see if that continues.
Philly trying to bounce back from their first loss of the year, headed to Indy to take on the Jeff Saturday-led Colts.
I can't see any scenario where Philly lose.
No, I can't. I would love to see them lose again, but I just think they should. They're mad right now, so unfortunately the Colts are their victim.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, a game of two teams that had such high expectations but have really dropped the ball. The Rams and the Saints.
Yuck.
I don't know if I can pick the Rams anymore because every time I do, they
Me
lose.
too.
There's such a disappointment.
So bad. And I think Cooper Kupp is on IR.
Is he on IR? If that's the case, the Saints are they're going to be wearing their throwbacks in this one. I don't know. The Rams are just such disappointment. I'm taking the Saints at home. What's up, Luca? Just popped in.
I went with the Rams on the boys podcast, but because I didn't know that Cooper Kupp was on IR. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with the Saints.
I think we got pretty much the same picks at this point, except for that Jets-Patriot game.
Yeah. What's up, Luca?
Got the Panthers. Panthers and the Ravens. Ravens 13-point favorites. I mean, I don't think they'll cover that, but they're.
Yeah, the only question is the spread for me because I can't see any scenario where Lamar Jackson doesn't set the Panthers on fire.
Yeah, give me the Ravens.
So far, it all comes down to the Jets-Pats pick.
This Commanders and the Texans. Commanders are riding high. They keep winning. They knocked off Philly. They celebrated a roughing the passer call to get the victory. I kind of want to pick the Texans out of respect for Tony Clark, but
I'm going the Communists.
Yeah, I don't know. The Texans they're a bad football team. The Commanders are much better, so I'm going to take the Commanders too.
Oh my God, you got the same picks. Okay.
Raiders, Broncos. I've already, much like Alex said, he can't pick. I think it was the Rams anymore this year. I can't pick the Raiders ever again. They suck. They're so bad. I refuse to pick them. I'm taking the Broncos.
It's the same scenario for me, though, because both teams suck. And I've been picking both teams all year long. And both teams have been absolutely screwing me. Rotten. So it's pick your poison. Now, the Broncos kind of jump out at me first. But I'm going to go Raiders. They're so bad that I'm going to go Raiders.
The Raiders haven't been much better. This one is going to be a good one. Cowboys, Vikings. Dallas trying to bounce back. The Vikings are red hot. The Cowboys are actually favorites in this one.
Is that Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football?
No, it's a 4:25 game.
4:25. That's going to be fire game. That's a fire game. Okay. Who you going? Who you got?
I think at some point the Vikings have to lose. I hate picking Dallas, but I think they win this game. I think they go on the road and get the W.
I'm just thinking that with the Cowboys blowing it in overtime, thinking, oh, you know what? I don't need a field goal. I'm good. When they lost and they lost in overtime, I'm wondering whether that's going to kick them in the ass. So, and the fact that Jefferson made all those heroic, historic, insane, NFL-defining catches to win last week. The momentum is with the Vikings, so I'm going to go with the Vikings.
All right, so we got a few games different now. So this next one is Bengals and the Steelers in that ever interesting AFC North.
Who's the home team?
Pittsburgh.
Well, I went with Pittsburgh and with the boys in the Big Apple. I quite like them at home. They have a great record against the Bengals and Joe Burrow for some reason. Even though I'm a Bengals stan, I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
I'm taking Cincy.
I think Cincy have obviously far superior receiving options, but Jamar Chase is out. So
we'll see. I just don't know what to think about Pittsburgh because I see it's like they don't look good. They look terrible at times, and there's times that they look okay. I just don't know if they have enough right now to get past Cincinnati.
I wouldn't have thought so, but to stick by my first thought.
It is a chaotic year, and this should be a good one. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs-Chargers. The Chiefs, with another weapon added, an offense that just doesn't matter who's out there. They have Patrick Mahomes. And the Chargers still hanging around out there in the AFC West, 5-4. So this is a big game for them.
Give me my hero, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I got to go with the Chiefs as well. And what is up to Tudo? Massive salute. Thanks, Rob, Donald, Alex, Luca, MH. Welcome, Tudo. Thank you for popping in. Always good to see you, Paisan.
Paisan. What's up, brother? Thank you for checking in, my man. All right, so we both have the Chiefs.
We wrap up the week, Monday Night Football. 49ers at the Cardinals. Is Kyler Murray playing? Is a big question.
That is a big question. Let's see if we've got any update for you. Because he was questionable the last time I checked. Because I've got him in a bunch of my fantasy leagues. And I need to know his status. I'm going to edge towards him probably being.
He's a game time decision.
Says he still feels his injured hamstring feels a lot better, but he's unsure of his status.
Yeah, here Cliff Kingsbury said that Kyler Murray will be a game time decision.
Ooh.
Does not bode well for the sake of picking this game.
That's going to be a nightmare to pick. Absolute nightmare to pick. How are you supposed to pick that? Having said that, their backup looked damn good last week.
Yeah, but didn't Colt McCoy get hurt last week too? Oh, he practiced. Okay, so he practiced yesterday.
He was back. He came back.
So he'd be in line to start. I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'm going to take the Cardinals here.
Okay.
Probably regret it, but I'm going to take them.
You've been pretty loyal to the Cards all year.
I really like their weapons, even though they missed Hopkins for a while. And I don't know. I don't know why I keep picking them. Maybe one week they'll actually prove me right.
I feel really good about the 49ers. I felt good about them as soon as they replaced, luckily for 49ers fans, the Trey Lance got hurt. So the Garoppolo comes in and they start winning. He's just a better quarterback than Trey Lance. But also certainly helps that they got CMC. Run CMC. He's definitely helped them.
It's a big game for them because if Washington takes care of business against Houston, and if San Francisco were to lose, Washington would take that third wild card spot in the NFC, which would mean
they've got a lot of weapons, man. They've got Brandon Ayuk, who's had a very good year. Deebo Samuel's not had as good a year as he did last year, but he's still a weapon. And they've got McCaffrey, and they've got Elijah Mitchell back from injury, so they've got a good tandem running back. and their defense is as solid as ever. It's one of the better defenses in the league. So I feel really good about the 49ers making the playoffs this year and maybe making some noise. So I think they'll beat the Cardinals.
Certainly possible. But there is that scenario. If Washington wins and San Fran loses, that would mean all 4 teams from the NFC East would currently hold a playoff spot.
That would be just bananas. Where are the Giants on the –
Giants currently hold the top wild card spot at 7-2.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, would mean we travel to Tampa Bay as of right now for a playoff game.
Oh, my God. Giants against Brady. Does it get better than that?
I don't think Tommy wants to see us, even though Eli's not there. His spirit still remains. So, of course, still plenty of time, but it would be very nice to see if the NFC East holds 4 of the 7 playoff spots at the end of the week, because we got made fun of for so long. I know all of our fans go at each other's throats, but there's one thing the NFC East fans do very well, is when people attack our division, we fight back kind of like a collective unit. It's almost interesting how we all kind of defend each other in that regard. But right now, we're the best division of football. And it's not even
exactly. And we're one of the best teams in football.
Certainly. Well, I guess you can say about the AFC East and NFC East, but the NFC East is an animal right now, and I love it. Tudo says, everyone pray for us today. Sat here in northern Italy. We have a huge match against reigning world champion South Africa at 8 a.m. New York time. 500 underdogs on the unlimited list.
Oh, is that the World Cup? Or is that rugby? Or is that soccer? Let's see.
Yeah, let us know, Tudo. Are you playing? Because you said you're on the limited list.
Yeah. Let's see.
If that's the case, I'll try checking that out somehow. Please let us know. That'd be
no, Italy failed to qualify for the World Cup, so it must be rugby. Unfortunately, I don't watch rugby, so
Tudo, if you play, good luck. Yeah, prayers up to you, Tudo. If you play rugby, you're a tough dude, because
you are. I ain't messing with you.
Nice and messing with no rugby players. They look for punishment. They look to get hit. No pads, nothing. Lunatics. You know what? Tudo's a good lunatic, and we're glad we got him on our side. He said, we've got Sky Sports. Rugby pass to witness how we destroy SA loses. He's going South African loses. Full Italian. Yeah, South African. Full Italian
on us here.
Bringing the 2x4s, the baseball bats.
You will be rooting for Italy.
One way or the other. But
another country.
Hopefully, we'll be celebrating a Giants victory once again. It'll be very nice to see 8-2 on the standings. And that is going to wrap it up for us here at Nerd and Out Sports. Rob Donald, thank you all for watching. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Tudo, Luca, MH, Alex, all popped in. Talked a little bit of Giants football. Keep pointing to that NY logo. I shall
right here.
Do the same. We're going 8-2. Right you need to see it. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow the links in the description to follow us on Twitter. Follow the boys in the Big Apple. Subscribe to their channel as well. You can see more of Donald, Alex, and Luca. And that is going to wrap it up for us. Let's go, G-Men. Peace out.